Okay, so today what we're basically going to go through is like a virtual session, as if we were actually out onto the field. There, like I said last time, there's plenty of materials out there on YouTube through the club for doing your workouts, for getting touches on the ball. So what we're going to do is everybody see the screen, shake your hand in front of the camera. Can you see the green screen? Wonderful. So that's working. So we're going to start our session. We do our warm-ups, get our bodies ready to go, and we're going to go right into a 4v2 rondo. But you notice, can everybody see my mouse? Shake your hand in front of the screen. Good, so that's visible too. So you see the internal, like the square, and then you see the bigger rectangle. So this rondo, what you're going to be doing is just a basic 4v2 that we've done over and over and over again. But every time that the lady in orange gets the ball, the two wing players will move out to the secondary line and continue playing the rondo like normal. So if this ball ended up coming here, we can get rid of that, get rid of that, and get rid of that. So the ball got to the orange player. Both players go wide. Remember, based on our picture, if both of these defenders are coming up on a high press, we drop wide and back, giving options to either side. Ball comes out. Soon as it does, she comes back to this line. She becomes available without coming all the way over here. She becomes available. The ball can be played. We play our normal rondo. Anytime this ball is moving around, defense is moving, it gets back to the lady in orange. What do? You step back. If the picture, these defenders get lazy and they were back here, remember, your positioning is going to be even with that line. So if we're going around, we're still doing our rondo, this ball gets to the orange player, she can be moving along this line too. If these defenders are hanging back, guarding the through ball, these players are wide, but they're on the same line as the defensive players. The ball can be played, and it just makes it easier to get the ball to a forward position. If she got that ball back here, we don't have a passing lane. Okay, that's why we get even with the line. We go wide, ball gets played out, she steps back in, we continue the rondo here. If it comes back to the orange player, she goes wide again. So we would do that for 5-10 minutes or so, getting our touches in, receive with the back leg, moving the ball around. After that, we would move, let's see, do we want to move on? Yes. Go into our position rondo. Here is one that we've done before. It's going to be blue against red, plus the yellows are going to be the neutrals on attack. So what we have is an 8v4 or a 6v4 plus 2. Again, the ball is always going to be played. Why is that not working? Move that to the back. Now can I grab the ball? I can't grab the ball. Let's get rid of this. Okay, everybody still see the cones? You see the box? I'm not sure why the ball is locked. Because of the software. Okay. Let's get a hold of the ball. Okay. Anytime, what we're trying to do is basically get from this player to this player. Okay, back and forth, utilizing our blue players, which are on our team, our yellow neutrals, trying to get around the defense. So if we have a ball here, the defense is coming in. They're typically, if they're doing it properly, they're going to stagger. So that means that they're on different lines. Annotation, draw. So we have a line here and a line here, so that they're on different lines and they're staggered. So one's on this side. Let's see. Undo, undo, undo. So we had the two lines and they're staggered. So one is on her right side, one's on her left side. We don't want to be in a line when we're on defense. Get that off. Okay, so when we have a high press, remember our players come back and wide, just like we did in our last rondo. Ball will come wide. From here, she'll become available. She steps over as a support player. One of the neutrals can show, the other one will disappear. Okay, the defense will adjust accordingly. They're usually going to come in and press. She's going to cut off this back pass. So when she shows, she's either going to have to show to the space, show wide, or just try to pull a defender away. At which point, if there's a gap, this ball can be played forward, can instantly go to this forward player. If this gets stopped here, of course, she can play back to the middle, and we're just playing our position-based rondos. So we would do this for a while just to get into a larger area, more players. The concept here is to go from, I don't know why those players are covering the ball, go from, I'm going to point like you can see, go from this player to this player, back and forth, playing the ball wide if needed, if that's the only option. If the defense is starting to get lazy because we're going back and forth, they're starting to get tired, and they show us a split, this neutral player in the middle can stand between and behind, so she's in her own space. By all means, you can play that ball forward. She'll turn with it. As the defense is coming, that means that this wide player can be open wide. This neutral can step up. This one can come wide, and we're trying to get to this player. So she can either play out, in, out, up if she moved over, just like our normal rondos. After we go from there, we'll go into our actual sessions. So we're going to start with the younger group, which is 7-a-side. We're going to build up out of the back. So the reason we were doing these rondos, it teaches us to be wide, to use our wide areas, look for our spaces, move to the option spaces. On all of our goal kicks, especially for the players playing 7-a-side, we have the build out line. So what we want to do is our wide players are going to be just in front of the line to try to obstruct the player coming forward. You're not going to hold them. You're just going to stand in front, make them run around you. But you're going to be in front of this line, and you're going to be more compact, more central. I know we normally want to play out wide, but during this goal kick, when it's a free kick, we're going to have both the wings in tighter. The 8 is going to be right in the middle. The goalie is going to find whichever target she wants to go to. This pass, your primary pass, is either going to go to the number 2 fullback or the number 3 fullback. The number 4 is an option, but not the primary one, and she's going to be there to guard the center once the ball is played. We're going to pick the number 2 option, so when this ball comes out, we want these players back and wide, but inside the box is fine. As soon as it goes to the keeper's right, so it went to this side, now this wing goes to the outside and opens up. The 8 is going to shift over, because as soon as we kick this ball and it's in play to the 2, this wing is going to come to pressure. This midfielder is going to come to pressure. The 8 might come in, the 7 might come in, but I guarantee these 2 are going to come in, they're going to try to win the ball. And they're going to try to press you very fast. So that's why the 7 comes out wide, and make sure that you have a clear passing lane. So right now it's a little tight to the 11, so it's okay to come back a little bit. The 8 is finding the gap between the 11 and the 10. If that pass is available, you can hit to the 8. If it's tight like this, because both of these players are close together, play the next open option, which is going to be your 7. Your 8 is here to receive a ball from the 7. At the same time, the 7 and the 8 shifted to the left of this field, our right. Remember, this 11 is actually coming across field and in a forward position. Okay? So once again, that basic movement, the 8's in the middle, 7 is here, 11 is here. I'm not going to move the defense. Okay? So we play from the keeper to the 2. As soon as the 2 gets the ball, that means that the 7 goes wide to that side. the 8 shifts over, and the 11 moves up. As soon as the 2 gets the ball, she's looking for the 8 or the 7 as her primary options because we have the space. Can I do a box? Okay, we can do that. We have space here, and we have space behind the 11 and the 10. Okay, those are the spaces we want to hit. Since the 11 and the 10 are tight, it's not a clean pass, we'll get it out to the 7. As soon as that ball goes out to the 7 into that space, know that you're going to start getting pressure from here, pressure from the 10 coming over. That means that the 2 needs to, okay, somebody's annotating. You're going to have to delete that. I don't think I can. Yes, I can. Okay. We will use that later once everybody gets used to using the Zoom. So the 2 is going to step up into that supporting position. The 8 is going to stay as this wide position or switch position. The 11 continues to a forward position. The 5, because most of the time when you're playing at this particular level, these 2 defenders like to stay back. If the 5 does come up to press, you know that the 8 is an open option because we already created this space behind when these 2 players came up to press the 2. So we can play the 8. The 11 would be able to shift from here to go wide. She turns upfield with the ball, and the 7 comes wide here. The 2 continues forward. Okay? So what we have here, and then of course the 4, because we kind of left them out, they're going to come and cover a 2-man back. So as the ball is moving up into the forward positions, we're not quite past midfield, but as the ball moves forward, they're covering the middle. The 8 is moving the ball forward, 2 is the support, 7 is wide, and the 11 is looking for a gap. If the 5 came over here, she's looking for a gap between the 5 and the 4. If the 5 did not come over and the 11 was here, 7 can play that ball up to the 11 and we can play forward that way. Or the 7 can still play to the 8. The 11 is prepared to play a ball through to get behind the line, or the 8 can dribble forward and the 11 continues to move out of her way so that we still have the space. What we're looking for here is the space that is any space that will be behind the 4 and the 5 now, since we already got past the 11 and the 10 and we're attacking this area. So once again, there's an easier way to reset all this. What we'll do is 2, 2. I'm not going to move the player's direction that they're facing just because it takes a little too long. Everybody gets set up. It's a goal kick. All the people on the other team need to be on this side of the build-out line. We set up so that we have option wide, option wide. We want this because we have all this space before this defender can come get us. Same thing on this side. We have all this space before she's able to run forward and press us. We're staying up high and inside to keep these 2 wingers in toward the center of the field. We want them central. If the 7 was way out here to begin with, the 11 was out here, this defender might be out here, and we start losing. We could utilize this space, but when the ball comes here, this player is going to be coming in at this angle. This player is going to be coming in at this angle. So when they're about halfway, it has to be perfect timing to the 8 and a perfect pass to try to slip it through. We have a small amount of gap between these 2, a small amount of gap here. If this 7 comes back, that is why we preset our team to be in centrally, and what we're trying to do is coax the other team into guarding us because they think that maybe we want to hit this ball directly and just try to get it upfield as fast as possible, which is not what we're trying to do. So we position toward the center. We want to bring these defenders in. We want them as close and as bunched together because the tighter they are, the easier it is to get around them. We pick a side. So again, let's go ahead and pick the 2. Keeper hits the ball out here. As soon as it goes to that side, the 7 comes wide, the 8 comes across, The 11 on the other team is going to come in as fast as she can to press. The 10's going to come in to press. If they're smart, the 8 will just be behind, covering the space behind. The 7 might be stepping in. Our 11 is already on her way, crossing in front of the 2 defenders, not coming all the way in front of them, just keeping her space and coming across. Number 2's very first look is either the 7 or the 8. Those are her primary options. The 4 is an outlet if she needs it. It is okay to pass this ball in front of goal. I know I've even said it as you girls were growing up, don't put the ball in front of goal. Put the ball in front of goal if you need to, because let's just say they're coming up. Somehow they were able to press quickly. They're all running up. That means that your 8 is not a passing option. Your 7 is not a passing option. You are okay to get this ball back to your keeper, back to your 4, or all the way to your 3. Typically, you want to use one of these central players to get it out. If they did press, keeper's covering her goal, the 2 passes to the keeper. Keeper can pick the 4 or the 3. These players have to run all the way across field. The 4 steps up, the 11 steps up, the 8's coming across. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 players versus 1. And we can still get out without being nervous, without rushing the ball or just booting it away. We have control. So the 7, 11, 8, 10, 8, 11, 7. Where did I put my ball? Okay. Keeper out to the 2. 7 wide. 8 over. This 11 is pressing. This 8 is pressing. The 10 is coming in to help. 7 is coming in to help. Our 11 is already starting across. Soon as she sees this is a very tight window, this is not their best option. Best option is out wide. 7 collects the ball. 8 steps in and she's ready for the ball. She's not going to crowd. She's not going to come to the defender. She's in her own space behind. Ball, and then the 11 is still, 11 is still coming across. The 7 can play the 11 or the 8. Make sure that once this fullback passes the ball to the 7, she's also stepping up to make sure she's a support option. We have our forward, our switch, our support. She picks whichever option she wants. 11, since she's wide open, our forward option is always our number 1 option. So the ball comes forward. The 7's going to be coming up to help. The 8's going to get into a switch position because we do not have anybody forward yet. 2 steps up. 4 comes to the center. 3 is stepping up together as everybody else is still trying to run back. And then from here, we can continue building up, utilizing our rondos. The 11 can hold the ball up as the 5 comes over. As soon as the 5 comes in, the 4 is trying to come over. She can give the ball back to the 7. She can move forward. The 8 can come in. The 2 is still stepping up or even can come wide. We can still have our support, our switch, or back forward again. So here, if you remember from like last week, soon as the 11 got the ball, 5 steps in. We have 1, 2 versus 1. This is the advantage that we want. We want the 2 versus 1. We can play back to the 7. 11 moves up. The 5 has to decide, does she drop back or does she try to press? As soon as the 7 gets the ball, we have 1, 2 versus 1. Move that ball forward, and now she's out of the play. Okay? I know it's a whole lot easy to say it on paper, but this is why we're working through our motions. We're working on our option spaces that we're running to, our passing options for those option spaces, which are going to be your forward, switch, and support. Always moving. Every time that ball is moving, we are looking, is somebody in a supporting option space? If not, am I the closest one to a particular one? I'm going to run there and I'm going to take that space. If the space is already taken, is there another space? If all 3 option spaces are taken, running out of time this meeting. Oh, I wonder if they're going to continue that part. where was I? So if all three option spaces are already taken, your forward, switch, and support, you look for the next option space. So if one of your teammates does get that ball, are you already connected, ready for a ball when she gets it? So like this 4, so if the 8 is here, the 11, let's just say that the 7 has the ball, 5 is here, 2 is the support, switch, here's our forward. The 4 can either stay back and help. So if this 2 gets the ball, she's already back here as the next support option. Okay. The 3 can come across, and she wants to be on this side of the attacking or of those defenders in case we lose the ball. We're always trying to set up for defense, even when we're moving a ball. But if this ball does go to the 8, she already knows this space, because she's looking, she's checking her shoulder, she stepped up, she's not on a defender, she's not hanging back hoping that her team does some magic. She steps up into her own space, still ahead of these defenders in case they win the ball. But as soon as this 8 gets the ball, she can yell out that she's moving to space. Here, the 8 can move the ball to the 3, so now the 3 becomes the switch. 7 is a switch, the 11 can adjust, she's a forward, and the 2 can shift over, the 4 can shift over, and they can try to find a supporting option. But if these defenders are still trying to play catch up and they're on this side of the ball, we're looking forward. We're looking for the 11, we're looking for the 3 to take this space. If the 3 gets the ball, the 11 gets the ball, she's obviously looking toward goal. What is my time? Okay, I want to move from the 7 aside. Let's get to our 11 format. There we go. Format 11. We'll just stick with the goal kick. Passing backward and gaining a ball is pretty much the same as with your goal kick. Now we have 11 aside. Okay, so we have our 2 or 3, a 7, 11, an 8, 10, 9, and a 6. This is going to be our basic format, which is going to be our 4-3-3 or possibly a 4-1-4-1, depending on how we actually set up. But again, all we're doing is occupying option spaces. So here, our 4 and our 5 are going to split. Remember, those are our 2 center backs. Our 6 is going to be our protective player, like the number 4 when we were doing 7 aside. So she's here. She is an option to get the ball, or as the ball is being played, she's already in a protective position to protect goal. So she's here as an option. We still want to play to either the 5 or the 4 here. The 2 and the 3 in this case, because there's more space, bigger field, more players, we are going to actually start wide. What this is doing is opening up this space here, opening the space here, but our 7 and our 11 are going to be central. We want to be central so that we pull this fullback in, we pull this fullback to the 7. The 9 is always going to be staying up top, ready for a ball to come in, be a target player. And because the 7 and the 11 are in central, it opens up all this space on the side, all this space on the side, because this fullback's not covering, she's protecting, or she's covering this player instead of the space. So again, the ball is still going to come wide. A typical press is going to have a 1 forward and a 2 support. So this 9 is going to start to come up. The 8 is going to help, and either the 6 or the 10 is going to step up and help. Okay, if this 10 comes in, because typically that's going to be her role, because the ball is on this side, this 10 is covered by the 8. This 8 is free, so the 6 is going to watch back here. The 10 and the 8 are covering the 9. So we have limited space. We have some space back here. We have space to come across, space here, and we still have our spaces forward. So that means as soon as this center back, oh wow, that got everything. As soon as the center back has the ball, her options are going to be the 2 and the 10. So remember our option spaces. As these players are going to come up to press, she believes that she's cutting off the pass to the 10. That is her job. The 9 is going to press. The 8 is covering the 9 and cutting off forward passes. The 10 is either going to back off into this roll, and the 11 can step up. So the 11 is taking this space. The 10 is taking this space. So if the 9 decided to do a curved run to try to keep the ball on this side of the field, this ball can come through to the 11. If the 9 did a straight press trying to get there quickly, the ball can come through to the 10. The 2 can drop back and try to draw this 7, or if the 7 just stays still, she's an option for a pass, at which point the 10 can shift again and the ball can try to come through. So we're always looking for our option spaces. You have to see what your teammates are doing, who's covering option spaces, who's moving to. Also, how is the ball movement changing the position of the defenders, the red team? Every time that ball moves, we're moving to option spaces. Every time that ball moves, they're moving because the ball is a magnet to the defense. Whether they're a good defense, a disciplined defense, or a bad defense, just means they're going to move differently. But every time the ball moves, they're going to move too. So we have our space. So as soon as this ball came wide, remember the 9 is pressing, the 8 is covering the 9. She's trying to cut off this pass to the 10 who is back here. The 10 on their team is also cutting off any passes toward the middle. She's also covering if this ball comes across, she's going to press. The 6 will probably take this space, the 9 will drop back, and the 8 will take that covering role. And we'll have a session on defensive placement as well later. Where is everybody? There we go. So ball comes to the 5. She turns upfield. The 10 is going to try to find a connected space. Remember, space, lane, distance. She needs her own space. She needs a clean passing lane between the 5 and herself. And she needs her distance. Running here, she's not connected because she does not have her own distance, whether she has space or not. So she covers this space. The 2 can drop back to help out. Another option, the 2 was here. Another option, as soon as the 5 gets the ball, if the, let's see, the 11 was here, the 10 could be back here. The 10 could show. Remember how we have our show and disappear during our rondos? Okay, I'm cutting it close. I'm going to do this quickly. Our rondos. The 2 players in the middle, when we're doing our possession or our position rondos, we have our show and disappear. One shows, one disappears and creates space. If she's not involved in the play or the ball doesn't move quickly, then she disappears and another one shows. So in this case, the 10 is coming into show and she can get a short pass. If she shows, the 2 takes this position because we want this 11 making sure that she's taking this 2 here, not allowing the 2 to come over. So we want the 11 to occupy her attention, if you will. So it's okay that this is a fullback. If this 10 steps up to be a show, she can even show here. The 2 can take this space. As the 10 continues into where the 2 was, the 8 might see, the 7 might see. I don't know why that's flashing. At which point, the 7 seeing the 10, the 8 seeing here. If the 7 stays, the ball can come through. Again, if the 7 wants to follow the 2, look who's open. It's okay. Just look how the defense is moving based on the ball, based on our movement. So the 7 went with the 2. The 8 is still trying to cover. The 10 came into where our 2 is. The ball can still come wide, and we can move a ball forward. Okay, from here, she can step back to try to be an option. The 8 at this point can come over to help. The 7 can leave her area, even if she draws a defender or not, can quickly come in. If she's a step ahead, she can still get a ball. We can move a ball out. As long as we're moving a ball forward, going through our progressions for our forward switch and support, we will have our options, trust our teammates to go into those option spaces. Sometimes that ball might work its way all the way up, almost to midfield. Defense gets in position, and it comes back. Go back through your support, switch, maybe even go from a support to a support, switch.